If you're a dog owner, I'm sure you know the feeling. You love this animal with your whole heart. But some days they are driving you slowly mad.
Oh, for sure. It's that feeling of frustration.
Exactly. Maybe it's the barking, that nonstop neighbor-annoying barking.
Or the chewing.
Yeah.
You come home and your brand new shoes are, well, they're history.
And they just seem to ignore you. The second a squirrel even looks at your yard, it's like you don't exist. It can be exhausting.
It really is. And I think so many of you turn to traditional training. You're hoping for a simple fix, but you're often met with what our sources call cookie-cutter solutions.
And they just don't work long term, do they?
No.
Yeah.
They might suppress the behavior for a day or two, but then you're right back where you started, and everyone, you and your dog, just feels defeated.
That's the exact gap we're diving into today. You've probably tried the treat bribery, the endless repetition, maybe, 5 different YouTube trainers?
And the disobedient behavior, it just persists.
So today's deep dive is focused on a completely different approach. It's a program called Brain Training for Dogs. And it was pioneered by certified trainer Adrienne Farricelli.
That's right. And our sources, they really position this method as something new. Not just a list of commands to memorize, but more like an intellectual blueprint for your dog.
An intellectual blueprint. I like that.
Yeah. The mission for us today is to really unpack this science-backed method and, understand how it claims to move past all those outdated training techniques.
We want to see how it supposedly unlocks a dog's hidden intelligence, and by doing that, changes the entire relationship you have with them.
It's a huge promise, redefining a relationship through intellect.
It is. But to even understand why this approach exists, I think we first have to tackle that central critique from the sources. Why do the old methods, the traditional methods, fail so many people?
It's the big question, isn't it? And the sources are, well, they're pretty critical here. They argue the failure is baked into the foundation of traditional thinking.
You mean the whole dominance thing?
Exactly. The reliance on these outdated dominance techniques. For a long time, training was all about establishing the owner as the alpha.
I can just picture people nodding along right now, remembering being told they need to be tougher or more assertive.
Right. Methods like alpha rolls, leash pops, physical corrections,
Yeah.
all to force compliance. But the core scientific problem with that is that it's all symptom-focused.
Ah,
It just
okay.
tries to suppress the barking or suppress the chewing. It never actually asks why the dog is doing it in the first place.
So if a dog is chewing the sofa, it's not being bad on purpose. It might just be bored out of its mind.
Or anxious, or it just doesn't have a healthy mental outlet. So when you punish a dog for chewing, you're not solving the boredom. You're actually just increasing their stress hormones.
Their cortisol levels spike.
Precisely. And you might stop the chewing for a minute, but you haven't given them a good way to deal with that underlying anxiety or energy.
So the problem just pops up somewhere else later.
That's it. That suppression-based approach, it just mounts the frustration for everyone.
Yeah.
Because the training stays superficial.
Yeah.
You're just managing the dog. You're not actually engaging their mind.
That's a powerful way to put it. You're treating the symptom, but you're completely ignoring the infection.
Well said.
So, okay, if suppressing the behavior is so stressful and inefficient, what does this intelligence-based approach offer instead?
It's a complete shift. You move entirely toward mental stimulation and positive reinforcement. The sources are really clear on this. The philosophy is science-backed and force-free.
And those aren't just buzzwords, I take it.
Not at all. Force-free means you are relying solely on reward-based systems. You completely eliminate punishment or any of those old dominance tactics.
And science-backed, what's the actual mechanism there? I mean, how does solving a puzzle change a dog's behavior more than, say, a long walk?
It all comes down to neurochemistry. When a dog is focused on a problem, like a brain game, and then it succeeds, the reward system in their brain just lights up. They get a hit of dopamine, which is that pleasure and satisfaction hormone. And that focused, positive mental work actively lowers those stress-inducing cortisol levels we were just talking about.
Wow. So you're not just tiring the dog out physically, you're literally changing their internal brain chemistry. You're swapping out that boredom and anxiety for a feeling of accomplishment.
That is the entire goal. You're tapping into their natural instincts for curiosity and problem solving, and you create a satisfied, engaged companion.
And a dog that's used its brain constructively.
It literally doesn't have the leftover mental energy or, the neurochemical need to start barking at nothing or chewing on your furniture.
Okay, this is where it gets really interesting for me, the practical side. If you're listening to this, you might be thinking, That sounds amazing. But how do I actually package that into like a daily routine?
And that's where the program's structure is so clever. It's designed to be incredibly accessible. It breaks everything down to these logical levels.
So you don't just throw a complex puzzle at a puppy.
No, no. It starts with simple tasks in what they call preschool and elementary levels. Then it moves you step by step through modules like high school, college, and all the way up to Einstein.
So it adapts to the dog's progress.
Exactly. It ensures that both novice and experienced pet parents, as the sources say, have a good place to start.
That progressive structure seems key. Do the sources mention any limitations? Like, can a really nervous rescue dog just jump into this stuff?
The sources claim it's suitable for all breeds and ages, which kind of addresses that. The first few levels are really designed to build confidence and focus. It's not advanced calculus for dogs right out of the gate.
Right.
For a nervous rescue, you'd start by creating these positive reinforcement loops with really simple low-stakes tasks. You're building up their confidence before you introduce the big challenges.
That makes sense. You're teaching the dog it can succeed before you really test it. So let's get into the fun stuff, the brain games. What are some specific examples?
This is the best part. Seeing how simple ideas can provide this intense mental workout. The sources highlight 3 classics. First is the treasure hunt.
Okay.
It's basically an advanced scent game. The dog has to use its most powerful sense, its nose, to find hidden treats or toys around the house.
So that's targeting their natural instincts, their focus.
Exactly. Then you've got the muffin tin game. You take a normal muffin tin, you put a treat in a few of the cups, and you cover all of them with tennis balls.
Oh, I can see where this is going.
The dog has to figure out how to remove the balls one by one to find the treats. This targets memory, object permanence.
Knowing the treat is still there even if they can't see it.
Right. And even fine motor skills.
Okay, I can see a border collie loving that, but how does that help with a different kind of issue, like a dog that jumps on everyone?
That's where the third example, the shell game, really shines. It's just like the classic street game. You show the dog the treat under one of 3 cups, you shuffle them around.
And they have to pick the right one.
They have to indicate the right one. And what's critical here is the element of impulse control. The dog has to focus, track the cup, and then wait for your command before they can tip it over.
I see. That moment of waiting, that cognitive pause.
It directly counteracts impulsive behaviors like jumping on guests or snatching food.
So these are not just cute party tricks. They are very intentional exercises designed to build real transferable cognitive skills.
That's the difference right there. It's the difference between memorizing a fact and learning how to actually think critically. You're fostering a dog that's always thinking, how do I solve this puzzle? Instead of, I'm bored, what can I destroy?
Now, the sources also mention the logistics. I have to ask about the cost. It's a one-time fee of $67. How do the sources position that value against, say, ongoing in-person classes?
That's a great point. The sources really frame it as an accessibility thing. The $67 plus a 60-day money-back guarantee makes it a pretty low-risk investment.
Compared to hundreds for a 6-week course.
Exactly. And unlike those classes, which have travel and scheduling and, they end, this online format gives you perpetual access. You can go at your own dog's pace, repeat levels if you need to, all without that constant financial pressure.
That definitely checks a box for someone looking for a flexible solution.
Yeah.
So let's get to the so what moment. If you do this, if you engage your dog's brain, what are the big, tangible benefits you should actually see at home?
Okay, so the benefits really tie back to that cognitive angle. First, and this is the big one, reduced bad behavior.
The chewing, the barking.
All of it. Because
Yeah.
the dog's mental energy is being channeled into these puzzles, you see an immediate drop in those destructive habits. The dog is just mentally satisfied.
So the sofa is saved because the dog spent an hour on the muffin tin puzzle instead.
Precisely. The second benefit is improved obedience. When a dog is actively learning complex tricks and commands, they become way more attuned to you and your expectations.
So obedience becomes a collaboration, not a command.
It becomes a natural extension of your learning environment together. And that leads to the third, and maybe most important, benefit.
The emotional one, the bond.
Absolutely. Enhanced bonding, that's the ultimate outcome. You're becoming this reliable source of fun, challenge, and reward. You're spending quality time as learning partners, not just as a manager and an employee, so to speak.
I like that.
The sources conclude this is really the path to discovering the full potential of your dog's intellect.
So if we boil it all down,
Yep.
if you're a frustrated dog owner and the old methods of dominance and suppression have just failed you, this deep dive shows there's another path, a science-backed, force-free approach that leads to not just a calmer dog, but a deeper, more intellectual relationship.
It's a huge shift in perspective. You move beyond just correcting symptoms, and instead you focus on developing their cognitive skills through things that are actually fun and effective.
Thank you for joining us as we went deep into the science and structure of canine intelligence training.
And if we really take the core idea from these sources, that eliminating bad behavior comes from fundamentally redefining a dog's thought processes through these cognitive challenges, it raises a really important question for you to think about. The next time your dog seems to be ignoring you or acting out, consider this.
Yeah.
Are you actually seeing disobedience? Or are you just seeing a profound lack of mental engagement
Hmm.
and just plain simple boredom? That is a huge difference to consider.